What's going on, everybody? Anthony here, 6 Scale Mafia, another Tuesday night show, and a very special guest with us this evening. Sorry for the delays. We had some technical difficulties, but we've got it all figured out now. Shilo from New Wave Toys is here with us tonight. I believe you're still here. Yes, sir?
I am still here. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for coming, man. It's super exciting. Of course, we got Rob as well in the building. What's up, Rob?
Hello, it's good to be here. I'm very excited. I love New Wave Toys.
Hey, that's what we want to talk about tonight,
Fuck
of course. And Mario, El Professor.
Hey, happy Tuesday, y'all. Happy Tuesday, man. Excited for the show tonight, man. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun discussion.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So again, guys, thank you guys for sticking with us. But we're here. We're good to go, man. So, New Wave Toys. We are all fans here. Well, Mario, I don't know. If you have any at all?
I don't, man. I was actually just recently turned on to you guys. I think Rob was showing me the boombox, and I was completely blown away by it. I was like, where can I get that? That is so freaking cool. And then Ant, with all his cabinets now, and I'm like, shit. Well, maybe I'll pick up a couple here and there.
I mean, Anthony's made a. Have you shown Shilo your arcade?
Not fully.
It's so cool.
I do want to see it.
Well, let's hear. I have it. I have my second camera up right now. Is there a way I can can I do it this way? This way? Oh gosh, guys, here. Let's do it this way.
Just full screen it. There you go.
How cool is that?
Oh yeah.
So yeah, that's the current state of the arcade right now.
With the Stranger Things kids.
That's awesome. Yes.
Yeah. So
we should explain though that Shilo, what is New Wave Toys? We know, but for the people watching, they might not know.
New Wave Toys. So it's probably a little bit different for your audience because we don't actually make figures. Well, not yet anyway. But we do pair very well with 1/6 scale.
Oh yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, there's a really great crossover actually, and what you're looking at there with Anthony's arcade is a perfect example of what a lot of people in our community do and get really creative with, blending the two, with the figures with our machines and our accessories, and really creating an arcade ambient setting, and as you guys know, on any shelf really, so we have pretty much, these are all our products here that Anthony has gotten, including the UV reactive carpet there on the bottom. Looks like, is that one of our stools, or is that, let's see.
It is.
Yeah,
it is. I had to fix the camera for some reason. It was tilted.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Look at that. You got Bill and Ted. You got Marty McFly from Back to the Future in
perfect.
there. The T-1000.
RoboCop.
Who's playing Street Fighter there? That's
Lucas from Stranger Things.
It's Lucas. Okay. Yeah. So this is really the best part about it, is when everybody gets creative and puts all these things together and puts the figures with the thing. A lot of people kind of laughed at it at first, and then it's really caught on. It's become very popular, and I like to think we've even opened and introduced a lot of people to 1/6 scale figures.
When you guys decided to make these games, were you thinking like the choice to go 1/6, was that because of figures? I mean, to me when I first saw your games, and the first one I bought was, I believe, your first release, which was the Atari. You did the Atari Centipede and then Tempest.
Yep.
And when I saw those, I was thinking whoever decided to make these 6 scale was genius, because you could immediately. I bought them specifically for the action figures, to go with the action figures.
Yeah, you're an early adopter, and that's exactly what we were thinking. So, my love for 1/6 scale toys goes way back. I was born in '70, so growing up in the '70s,
G.I. Joe.
Well, I gotta admit it, I also always wanted to play with my sister and her friends with Barbies.
Look, dude, I'll admit it too, because Barbie had the dream house. Barbie had a Corvette. She had all the civilian stuff that G.I. Joe
She did.
Yeah, and it was just fun, you know. And I had I had a really interesting character. I don't know if you guys remember it or not. It was called Big Jim.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So Big Jim was 12-inch figure, which we all refer to as 1/6 scale now, right?
Yep.
But obviously a lot more out of scale back in the 70s, right? I don't know. I just loved it. All the accessories that Big Jim came with. He had a camper, man, and he had a campfire with the stones around it, with you know, with the fire in there, and like all these things that I was into as a kid. But then, you know, my sister, they would just tell me to fuck off. I mean, they didn't want to play with me. They were like 10 and I was like 5, you know. So from there it went on to Star Wars. And I was big on collecting the 12-inch figures for Star Wars. I mean, I have a lot of the small ones too, but that was my jam. And I don't know why. I just dig it. I just like the size and the detail and everything.
Me too.
And I'm one figure short on my 1978-79 12-inch Star Wars. I need R2-D2, but I have everybody else.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So to me, I mean, Hot Toys obviously was the progression of everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've spent a lot of time doing product development for, 20 odd more than years now, a long time, spending a lot of time in Hong Kong and stuff and discovering Hot Toys there and how it's grown, and it's really impressive. And I don't know if any of you guys ever made it to Hong Kong, but they have a really cool store there too. That I sent no, I mean, this is that. Yeah. Secret Base. Yeah. It's their, that's really cool. It's like, look at all these figures and you can't buy any of them.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, so that love and everything. And I've been in the video game industry for a long, long time. And my pure passion and everything comes from the arcade and my experiences in the arcade growing up as a kid and the discovery of these machines and, really not having a lot of quarters to play with back then, but just being in the arcade and looking at the artwork, and it just blew me away. It started my, made me decide that that's what I wanted to do for my career. But I really kind of burned out on all the console stuff and all the modern gaming, and went back to and said, well, what are the true classics when it comes to video games? And those are the arcade machines, right? And you can't get any more classic. So it was well, how big are we going to make them? And it was like, well, 1/6 scale was just like perfect. I mean, 12 inches tall. We can have a nice big enough screen in there, a 4-inch screen, and we can do things. We can't do everything, and a lot of times we have limitations with technology and stuff like that. But as you guys know, if you bought Centipede, and if you just got like the latest cabinets, there's a big progression that we've made over the years, and we're actually heading on to 7 years of starting this company in October. So it's been we're early into this. We were the earliest, probably the first guys to really try to do something that was arcade accurate and not just like some dumb looking generic cab with crappy artwork all over it, right? Because I'll say one more thing. These games you can basically play anywhere, and you can play them for free. And so it's not just about playing the game, it's about everything, the cabinet shape, the materials we use. Like we use wood cabinets, although it's a pain in the ass. We die cast the coin doors, so those are metal, details like that. And just making sure the gameplay is also dialed in and the controllers work, and 1/6 scale is not always the easiest thing. Track balls and spinners, and we have micro switch joysticks, and we have we just did Food Fight, which has an analog joystick. It's pretty crazy.
Has that come out yet? Has Food Fight come out?
Oh yeah, Food Fight came out earlier this year. It's sold out. So those are long gone. Yeah,
I missed it.
It's a little bit of a long answer to your question, but it goes way back. The whole 1/6 scale thing is just deeply rooted into me, just my favorite toys. And starting my company, you know, why not take that route? It just made all sorts of sense, and I'm sure glad we did, because it allows us to expand even further from like the hardcore arcade fans and audience into this crossover, and then creating this whole thing like you have, Anthony, with your arcade is really special.
It is realistically, I mean, thank you, because I'm in the same boat. I mean, a little bit younger, but I grew up in the arcades. I mean, I lived in the arcade. I worked at the arcade. So
yeah,
it's crazy because I'm a 6 scale collector. And as soon as I was like, wow, okay, I can be creative. I can recreate, you know, to the best of my ability, what a lot of us grew up in. So it really means a lot to me as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, you'll hear that like from everybody in our community. Everybody, we're all arcade rats. That's why we've joined together, you know.
Yeah.
And
right?
and it's like the hardcore know what's up, you know. The expectations are higher, but I mean, we try to meet them and exceed them, you know. So, and we keep on trying to innovate to keep keep everything fresh and keep pushing the envelope. As cliche as that might sound, it's true. You know, we're just always trying to outdo ourselves with details and features and stuff. And we got a new set of cabs going to be announced here this summer, and we even pushed it a little bit further. So you guys will have to stay tuned. Maybe I could come back on when we reveal those, and I'll show you a special new feature that's pretty.
That would be awesome.
Pretty nutty.
Ooh, okay.
I have to say that I could not believe, I don't know if this is true of Dragon's Lair, but I could not believe that Space Ace came with a 6 scale Laserdisc player.
Yeah.
Because I was a huge Laserdisc. I worked at an optical disc only store in Seattle, and we were the largest optical disc only retailer, meaning all we sold was CDs and Laserdiscs. And I couldn't believe that you didn't have to do that, but
No.
you added the Laserdisc player and a 6 scale Laserdisc.
Yeah.
That was like the coolest shit. It was so funny because when I bought Space Ace and I was playing it, I did not know, the Laserdisc came in the little
with the manual,
with the manual, and I'm like,
yeah.
I had no idea. I was reading a review after I had the game, and it showed how if you pop open the back of the cabinet, there's a Laserdisc player in there. I'm like, no way. And then I went and took my game and opened it up, and not only was it in there, the top comes off, so you can put the Laserdisc in it and put the top back down. I mean, come on.
Thank you.
That was, you don't know how I don't think I've ever been so excited for a 6 scale accessory in my entire life.
Well, I love to hear that. I just got to say one thing. I mean, that is the ultimate compliment. Like when you have one of our products and you discover something new on it, right? Do you guys know what I mean? It's like having watching your favorite movie, and you notice something kind of new every time you watch your favorite album or whatever, And I just love that. And that's a big discovery, finding the Laserdisc player. You must have shit being a Laserdisc fan, right?
Dude, I'm where I'm sitting, I still have 100 Laserdiscs. And I'm right next to me you can't see him over here, but what I thought was what's so cool about what your company has done, so you started putting out the cabinets first, but the accessories that you've been putting out, like the stools, that I have for those, the blacklight carpet.
Yep.
I love the fact that you put out a 6 scale change machine that is actually you can plug all the games into it. I mean, it's a power supply. Yeah. I mean, that was a genius. I don't know who came up with that at your company, but what a genius thing to make some. I mean, the change machine doesn't work. They can't, but to turn it into something for an arcade, it does work because it's a hub you can plug everything into, so you don't need 8 or 10 cords all over the place. I can just go into one hub and you can go out from that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know
to turn the black lights on.
And then the boom boxes that you guys made.
There you go.
I mean, everything that you're doing is so cool.
Well, thank you. You know, I got to say, we always try to put in some functionality into the product, or make it, you know, a little more beyond what it might just be like a wooden box. We could have made that for a charger, or sorry, for a change machine, and called it a day, right? But you're right. Yeah, we'll add in the USB hub and make it into a charger, and all of a sudden it's a must-have accessory. And
it was really cool.
We've done really well with that, and in fact, we're starting to sell out and sell through because we do have a new charger coming this year also, which is going to be really exciting to show you guys a little bit later on.
That would be really cool.
And now you're putting out Zoltar from Big.
Yeah, so this is our first dabble into animatronics, and kind of a figure, I guess you could call him, right? Because, you know,
yeah,
not so much.
No
like
way! Wow, that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
Well, what I was going to suggest to you, since you're doing Zoltar,
yeah,
you guys got to do the game from The Last Starfighter.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
I'm sure. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Because I would. I don't know if you could actually make a playable version of that game, but I figured since you're doing Zoltar, I mean, I would buy a Last Starfighter cabinet if you just had like even animation from the movie in it, and it wasn't playable, and you could make that as a hub or something. Because
yeah, that's interesting.
It'd be dope. Because having Zoltar, I don't even know, was Zoltar real or was that made up for Big?
Well, actually, Zoltar for Big is a movie prop, so that was never real. But this is the real Zoltar, and they've been making these since the 60s, I believe.
Okay, so that's okay.
This is U.S. made. You know, it's funny. If you follow us, and if you're into the group on the fan page and stuff, it's like everybody's noticing Zoltars now when they're on vacation and stuff, you know, because they're always in like gift shops or an arcade or, you know, a Midway or something like that. And with Zoltar, and we've actually really improved his animatronics on his mouth and stuff like that recently. But, you know, we actually took this was our first coin op. So if any of you own our cabs, you know, we ship them with a metal 1/6 scale token, basically look like little quarters.
Mm-hmm.
And since day one, we're always like, how can we get these to coin op our machines, you know? And you know, finally now, a few years later, this is the first one. We built in an IR sensor, patent pending, and you know, all this type of stuff. So it detects it registers the credit. Zoltar will then be activated, tell you his little spiel, and then spit out the fortune card, just like the full-size machine. In fact, this also has a track mode, and it runs in a track mode just the same way as a full-size $10,000 machine does, you know. So really excited. His head moves, his eyes move, his arm moves, obviously his mouth moves. And it's our first animatronics, and we want to do more animatronics, and this was a really great pre-sale for us, and we're looking at shipping this in Q4. So it's really different, and but also still fits in with our whole, you know, arcade culture and arcade life, you know.
Oh, well, count me in. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Once I saw this, and like you said, this is the first animatronic. That's really, really cool.
6 scale animatronic, yeah. So it's the first, and we try to do lines, you know. So it's like, if we're doing something like this, well, expect another animatronic. 1/6 scale thing.
Oh, really?
Would it be possible? Because I was we were talking to a couple of friends about this. It's very, very similar, right? Would it be and I don't know if it's obviously licensing, but if this can go through this way, and you guys are like, wow, we got this. Could you do the Riddler one from Batman Forever?
Yeah, that's a big license with DC. Yeah. But absolutely, you know, we're not going to say no to anything, right? You know. It's like, honestly, that would probably be a lot more mainstream than Zoltar. But yeah, it's a great idea. But we started with this just because I really think this stuff is really Americano and really really neat. It's just so cool. The company's still making these, hand making them in Boulder, and they have all sorts of other models and stuff, and and it goes back to the big thing too, and that nostalgia string, but yeah, I mean, anything's possible, but that's not what we have planned next, but it's a good idea.
I wonder if you could talk about the idea of getting licenses. Like, obviously you've got things like Atari, but I was thinking, like, have you ever gone after things like Williams, and
oh yeah. So to us, those are the grails, are the Williams and some of the Midway stuff and that. So we've been actively working on that for a long time now. So yeah, come from
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good.
Because I mean, I think I just keep thinking about Joust and Joust 2 and Defender and Stargate and Double Dragon, probably like you guys are.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Those are all great, and they will happen. And in the meantime, we have things lined up right now, pretty much through the end of next year. So stay tuned. There's a lot to be announced here, and I mean, we did our best year ever last year, and this year we're even comping that already. So there's more and more stuff coming out, and more accessories. Anyway, stay tuned. There's a whole bunch of things coming.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I can't wait myself. And I've shown off. It's a lot of my friends here and people on the channel as well, man. And so many people are whoa, what is this? They had no idea. Now there's a lot of people. I don't know if I don't know, but a lot of people have been buying a bunch of arcades this past month or two. So I'm like, all right, guys, like, this is what it is. This is awesome. I know a lot of people, like Rob mentioned, there's some, even myself, some we've missed. I'm not sure, but I saw I'm looking through some of the chat, guys. So sorry if I can't get to everybody, but do you have any plans for kind of redoing Street Fighter for those who missed out?
Possibly, but it would be a different cab.
Yeah.
Have you guys done the original Street Fighter 2, or is it just the Turbo Tournament Edition?
Well, it's Street Fighter 2. It was the CE that we did with Turbo as the secondary game. Yep. Yeah. So that's what we've done so far, and those are the two most popular games, really. The CE is what everybody plays, right? So, reissuing and stuff like that. I mean, let's talk about that, because a lot of people are all about it, and other people are like, "Don't you dare!"
Yeah.
They're very against it. So really, the only variant that we've come out with after launch has been Dragon Slayer, and there needed to be a reason. And of course, we did a couple updates with the Dragon Slayer cab. We added the Animatronics branding, which is a trademark that we registered ourselves to make sure we could use it, that we couldn't use on the first cab. So that's a little layer of detail, right? So it has like a raised letter metal coin door Animatronics on it, and also an updated Laserdisc player. So the one that comes with the Space Ace is the LDV1000. Rob, you're gonna love this talk, right? So that's the commercial grade upgraded Laserdisc player. But the first round of Dragon's Lairs has probably the first generation Laserdisc player. I think it was a Philips, and it's like brown, and it has like a transparent kind of amber cover that goes over where the Laserdisc goes.
Yep.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. I know exactly what you're talking about.
And it has like this really funny remote and stuff. So we did that with the first run. And that was just, I mean, like you kind of said, Rob, there is like that was a big hit. And, that's we're looking to do that whenever we can, is add a little prop like that or something, you know.
Oh, I mean, it was amazing. Because I didn't get Dragon's Lair, and which I'm very. I mean, I'll get it one day on the secondary market, but I mean, I understand your games are not just desirable, but they're also collector's items. Like when they're sold out, they're sold out. Like I know so many people that want that Centipede game, you know.
Yeah, and it's $1,000 now.
If you can find one.
Yeah, if you could find one. Yeah. So like with the Dragon's Lair, just to finish off where I was going with the variant, and the reason we did it was those little things. Plus now we redid the whole board, because in the beginning we had the plan of doing the spectator monitor that sits on top and mirrors the screen, right? If you guys remember in the arcade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like Dragon's Lair, everybody wanted to watch it, but you couldn't see because everybody's heads was in the way, right?
Yeah.
So they would take TVs and they just put it on top, and that would mirror, and you'd kind of be able to see it from wherever, because just watching Dragon's Lair was a trip back in the day when we were kids.
Yeah.
Wow, this is fucking amazing, right? And so we had to redo our board, and we had to put in a new IC and all that kind of stuff just to get it to run. And so we have the miniature CRT TV is really close. We're going to do a pre-sale drop on that here pretty soon. So people have been waiting for that, so they can add it to the top of their Dragon's Lairs and Space Aces. Of course, just the re-release on the Dragon's Lair, because the first one it'll support it. It'll change the signal to go to the input monitor.
Because you guys are putting HDMI outputs on them now, aren't you?
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Oh wow!
I mean, how dope is that?
Yeah, so that's right. So that's what allows this to work, you know. So now you have a mini CRT TV that has like a short HDMI cable that plugs into the back, and you know, it's really badass. Actually, it's really cool.
Really
I
cool,
love that
yeah.
you guys are doing that. I mean, that's why I think your company is so cool, because I think that Space Ace was the first time. Was that your first maybe Dragon's Lair? I didn't get it, but was Dragon's Lair and Space Ace your first HDMI outs?
No. In fact, HDMI out came with, I believe, 1942, 1943 was the first.
Oh, that
game.
makes sense, because I haven't opened mine.
You haven't, yeah.
Good. Yeah, no.
I need to open that.
Yeah, he has not.
It's next in the other, right in the other room.
Yeah, so the HDMI is two things really. Just to expand on the playability of the game.
Right.
So if you want to plug it into your big TV, go right ahead. It's going to look really great, and you'll have an arcade accurate, game. Plus, we added USB inputs in the back, so you could plug in whatever your console controllers or any USB controller,
and more than one too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you could do two. Yeah,
incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And we even did. I'm sorry, just real quick on Street Fighter and a couple other games. We actually included a bonus arcade stick with it to make it a little more playable.
That's really cool.
So you could plug it in. It was 1/6 scale, also just a little bit bigger actually, but yeah. So you can just plug it in there and actually have a better gameplay experience than hammering away on the little control panel.
Well, you did that with Tempest too. You added it wasn't accurate, but it was more than 6 scale, but it made it more playable, which I thought was genius.
And then you could take that off and plug in the 6 scale one. So
it was accurate. Make it authentic. It was. I thought that was an amazing. That was when I was like, okay, these people know what's up. They totally understand their product.
Yeah. But a lot of people now just keep the big one in there unless you really want to have the aesthetic.
Yeah,
it's really hard to play if you don't.
And also,
have that big.
To be fair, the price point is really fair. Like I thought when I first saw them that they were going to be like $250 or $300 or something, because of miniaturization, but it's not. You guys have pretty much been consistent with the price.
We have, and which is wild considering how other prices have fluctuated, but we really understand the value of $1 too. I mean, none of us are rich guys or anything like that, so it's we understand that even $160 for a toy that you really don't need is still a good chunk of change. So we just try to pack as much value in there as we can, and we always try to give little discounts for pre-orders, and really look at it like a win-win with our community. So the pre-orders help us. We know how many to make, and then we just make slightly more after that.
I've been I think I still have this on my hard drive. I've been working, as we're talking about Street Fighter, I guess I could share this. This is just I've been doing a quick, well, this is parts of it so far, but for those who, let me turn this music down. For those who haven't seen it, this was the Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. So I was doing a video for it on the channel here, and just for those who haven't seen it, this was for us in the early 90s, though. This is where it was at.
Oh yeah,
I mean even the texture of the coin box is exactly from the game.
It is, yeah. It textures on the side of the wood paneling too.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, good job. I like your video.
Yeah,
thank you.
Rad.
Yeah, well, I'm still working on it. But this is what I've done so far.
This is cool. On the back here too, we put a storage compartment for that controller I was talking about. Illuminated it with some LEDs, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's amazing.
We're not really super hung up about it being like super arcade accurate in the back. So we'll do stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
and add ports and stuff like that. We got no problem with that. We feel it adds value.
Looking at the Street Fighter 2, the button configuration, I'm thinking you guys can do Defender. You can.
Oh yeah.
You can do Defender. I bet Defender might be one of your biggest sellers if you do Defender.
Well, I love Defender. Yeah, I mean, Robotron is really kind of at the top of my list if you're talking about Williams stuff.
Yep.
I love some Robotron.
Robotron, Joust, and Defender.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but with Capcom, it seems, I mean, you've got the Ghouls and Ghosts and Goblins dual cabs coming out here. So I guess we could talk about probably here in a second. But does that mean that you're with Capcom? Can it be like a carte blanche thing with Capcom, or is individual games you guys have to kind of be like, hey, we would also like to do this, or can you choose like a Capcom game that you want to do?
Yeah, we choose, and then we work out a deal and pay minimum guarantee for that title, and then that's basically how any license works. So it's weird. There's a lot of games that even with Capcom, with Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls, Ghosts, at one time is like, yeah, you could do it, and then there was a period there where they're like, no, the producer doesn't want to do it for some reason. We're like, okay, and then finally they came around and they said they wanted to do it, so we activated on it. And that cab is our first one. There you go. That are coming out that are coin op, like I was mentioning with the Zoltar. So I'm really excited about that. I mean, it might seem super trivial to some people, but I mean, putting a coin into an arcade machine is part of the process.
Right.
And so why not have it? And then we have the little storage bin in the bottom compartment you can pull out, keeps your coins. You kind of get that noise, obviously in a 1/6 scale, toned down manner, but
that's so rad.
It is really
but it's
rad.
the same game. It's just different cabs you can play both on each.
Both games are on each. Same with 1942, 1943. We'll always do that when there's like kind of the first game and then a good solid sequel. Again, add a little more value. We're not forcing anybody's hand into buying both games, both cabs, and if you only wanted to select one, well, you could still play both games.
Yeah. Now, speaking of Darth Plato, yes, dude, Ghosts and Goblins was one of the hardest games I've ever played either.
Oh, that's a hard game. It really took us, our QC guys, in playing the game a long time. We had to add save states and all this stuff just to get through it, make sure that there was no bugs, So we're really pretty far along with this. We're actually waiting on Capcom to give us, they're doing their testing and everything right now, but we're waiting for them to give us the green light, and we want to have these out and in people's homes by Halloween. That is our goal.
Wow,
that's not too far away.
It isn't. So that's what I'm saying. It's like we're really pushing right now. So because it does take, it takes anywhere from 4 weeks to 6 weeks to get stock here. So it takes a while.
Yeah, and I like that. I like the fact that you do that. Like, I mean, similarly, like you mentioned with 1942 and 1943, they're included on both. So it's really just kind of a preference. Right? Like, cause I went with 42 because, well, clearly that's the one I remember. But also, I like the low profile of that arcade, and it gives a mix. For what I've got going on, I like to have that. Just different sizes, different scales, and whatnot like that. So
totally.
That's why I'm like, I'm cool. I don't need both. Because they're there, they're the same.
Right.
So as much as I like this one, I would have to go with the Ghouls and Ghosts. This is the one I like. Remember.
I think it looks real sharp too with the white T molding on it and stuff. Looks really nice. But the blue ghosts and goblins, the yellow coin slots are just so badass on that. It's a simple thing, but it.
Oh yeah. That's actually good. Yeah.
It's really cool.
No, but it's really cool.
Well, damn it! Now I don't know because I do like that.
It's funny. Speaking of 1943, we will also try to add little something special to the let's say at the secondary cab. So with 1943, we actually added the safety metal lock bar with a little mini padlock on it, which is pretty cool and something obviously nobody else is doing in our space.
Yeah.
If you remember in the arcades, everything wasn't just pretty. I mean, it was like there's lock bars and there's locks and. There was people doing bad things in those arcades too.
Yeah. My apologies. I didn't see the super chat earlier though from Jumpman. Thank you so much. We did kind of address the Street Fighter. Will Street Fighter be reissued and Coca-Cola extras? I'm not sure.
Jumpman, stay tuned on Street Fighter. Again, we don't want to cannibalize what we've done. So if we're gonna do it, there needs to be a good variant or maybe a whole nother cab, something
Third
like
strike,
that.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe you
Maybe.
never know. You never know. So, but a good segue, I guess, to the Coca-Cola vending machine. If you guys want to talk about that.
Oh yeah, let's
let's talk about that.
Okay. Well, first of all, man, it's a refrigerator. Okay, so it's a thermoelectrical refrigerator. Are you guys familiar with it?
So it actually works as a fridge?
Yeah. So here, check out this video that's playing right now. So again, it's coin op. You have to put 2 of the quarters in there, and then you press the select button, and it dispenses an solid aluminum replica 1/6 scale.
Get out of town!
Boom!
You just saw it. Look.
No way.
Yeah. So we built all that into that 1-inch thick door, and then inside there you have capacity to put 2 cans of pop on top of each other. You can see in this picture, or one Mexican Coke bottle.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
which were the best. Those had the real sugar.
Now what?
Yes, that's right. It has a cane sugar, and they're so good.
What is the retail on this?
That's the same as our cabs, $160.
Oh, okay.
And I think we mentioned it earlier, but there's a Coca-Cola Classic version. This is like circa, kind of 86, 87.
Yeah.
And so it's when New Coke came out. So we do have a very limited edition of a New Coke variant of this. And I, had to have it. And I asked Coke and they were like, well, we don't really license New Coke. And like, really, nobody's ever asked before. And I'm like, well, we're asking, and turned out
I was writing for my high school newspaper when New Coke came out. I need a New Coke machine. We just ripped on it mercilessly. I want one.
No, that's the one I want too. I want the New Coke specifically for the arcade because it's part of the times.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, so you're. What is are you going to make that is it going to have a premium price, or do you have to pre-order it? How do you get that New Coke machine?
Well, you're just going to have to be quick when we drop them after we ship our pre-orders. We made it's pretty limited.
Because you can't buy it anymore on your site, right?
Well, here's the thing. And if there's any new waivers out there that are listening, and we owe everybody an update on their pre-orders with Coke, is that we finally got the container in the house after the long weekend, and everybody is on holidays, and there's so many issues with logistics these days. It's crazy. So like this particular shipment's on the biggest container you could get is 45-foot HQ container, right? And well, lo and behold, if you have one of those containers, it's really hard to find chassis,
right,
for the trucker to bring it to the warehouse, you know. So that took days, but I will say we have them in-house. They are in the warehouse right now, and we are just waiting for Coke to give us a final approval. They do things a little bit different at Coke with their licensing approval. Normally, you don't have to send a production sample for final approval. It's already done, essentially, you know. But they require a final production sample, and they're reviewing it. The product turned out beautiful. I don't think there's any other Coke product out there that has this much detail. Let me tell you guys one more thing about this, which is just the coolest detail, is that because it's a refrigerator, those mini aluminum cans, which basically feel like a bullet because they're solid, they get cold. So when you pull them out of the little hopper, they're cool to your touch.
Wow. Okay, that is pretty cool. So like it's full fridge. I mean, like, can I have an actual can in there and take it out? It'll be cold.
Yeah, it gets surprisingly cold. Yeah, it's
so. You could put some brewskis in there too.
You could put a couple brewskis in there for sure.
Wow.
Right. And then if you don't want the fan going, I mean, we learned a shit ton about thermoelectrical for refrigerators. I'll tell you that much. But again, we're always trying to like, what can we fit into this? Well, we can't just make it a refrigerator. It's got to be a working vending machine, right? So that's why we did all this extra stuff and somehow pulled it off, and still had a lot of work to get the illumination on the light box to be all consistent and look realistic and stuff like that. Ended up taking us a lot longer than we thought it would. But there's also, if you don't want it, risk the buildup of condensation, or you just want this with your other collectibles and stuff like that, you can just turn it on to just vending mode. It'll turn off the refrigeration so you could still have it illuminated and fart around with the coin on
that's
and
smart.
stuff like that.
Yeah, some people may not want to do that. Will you have a brightness setting at all, or is it just one setting?
Nope, there's just one setting, just like a real vending machine.
Okay.
But we got this really advanced printing on the coin on the front light box doors. That's UV printing, and it basically does each color. So it'll do like yellow, and then it does red, and then it all kind of blends in to look right. And the effect is just so realistic. We're really happy with it, but it did take us, admittedly, a long time to.
Is there any thought of making like could you do different Coca-Cola products and swap out the labels where the buttons are and put in like Diet Coke or Tab or
stuff? There is a way you can just cover them, but Coke didn't want us to do that.
Really?
Yeah,
just because I'd love to buy a bunch of Coca-Cola products as an accessory.
They said no to that for some reason. So, anyways, I mean, here's
the
thing.
No fun.
It is what it is. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, we're if these go well, which they are, we may do some other Coke brands, Sprite, and, whatever. Stuff like Fanta is another kind of cool one.
Oh yeah,
correct.
Yeah.
Cream soda, red Fanta. If you guys remember that, delicious.
Oh yeah, that would be, dude. And the thing is too, you could, if you do success. I mean, if you wanted to, you could probably go to other companies too and be like, hey, we made a Coke machine. Would you be interested in us doing a machine of something else? Or
Or like one of those 7-Eleven things where you can open up the top and get like drumsticks and ice cream, like bomb pops and stuff.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
you
yeah.
Sell,
but
you
the
could
old,
make
but the old school, you had to lift the lid.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, it's funny because Dixie Narcos, I think is what the company, the vending machine that made all these Coke refrigeration machines and stuff. I mean, it's the same machine for Pepsi.
Right.
You know, they use the same machine. It's just different branding, right? So one funny one that keeps coming up is Jolt Cola.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I remember Jolt.
When was that
remember
introduced,
Jolt.
though?
Early 90s, right? Or at least that's
Jolt?
when
That
I
was
drank it.
late 80s, wasn't it? Or mid
It was
80s?
80s. It was 80s.
Was it
but
80s?
yeah, I think
Yeah,
it was
probably.
the most popular in the 90s. It was kind of the first Red Bull.
85. It was created in 85.
Okay.
So it's right there with New Coke.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, well, I definitely remember it in the early 90s because you're right. It was kind of like the first Red Bull because as us, when we were 12, 13, 14 years old, that's all we would get. Jolt Cola, man. Come on, let's go get all these Jolts. Just get hopped up, man. I remember that. I
Was it
absolutely remember that.
twice the sugar and twice the caffeine, or is it? I think it might even be even more than that. I'm not
Probably more than that. I just know we drank the shit out of that as teenagers because, you know.
But, fuck, isn't that crazy though? Thinking about that, that probably means it has at least 80 grams of sugar per bottle.
Yeah.
Oh, probably.
Well, because
Holy shit.
the sugar.
So in 85, these are the number one. The market share was Pepsi, Coke was 2. Then you had Diet Coke, Dr. Pepper. You have to have 7-Up, Sprite,
Yeah.
Mountain Dew, Royal Crown Cola, Sunkist.
Oh, RC Cola, yeah.
RC Cola. You got to Cherry Coke. I mean, I think you could do a whole a bunch of accessories with all these different cans. I'd buy them.
Well, yeah, I would too. Well, not every single one. I don't want to collect soda machines.
Why not?
Well, but one or two. Well,
because all the kids in the
Rob, we have
arcade
a
will
lot
be
of-
drinking their favorite Cokes or their favorite
I
drinks.
guess you're right.
So, you know, for the
yeah.
figures, man, you need
For the figures, man. They're thirsty.
They want variety. No, I mean, look, I mean, it's awesome though. It's awesome. I think the Coke machine's cool for me.
I can
think I'd
only
be-
imagine what it'd be like when you're trying to track down the license. We want to make 6-scale cans of Orange Crush. And people would be like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah, they'd be like, "What does that mean? What is 6 scale?" Seriously, a lot of people wouldn't know what that is.
We
or-
don't make Orange Crush anymore.
Yeah.
Nah, it doesn't matter. We still want it.
I do have a $10 tip though from Toy Box, man. So thank you so much for that. And he was wondering, he said, I would love to see a Bloody Roar 1 and 2 cabinet. I spent so much money playing that game as a kid. Also, is there any chance of a neon style sign or a new carpet design?
Well, that is a deep cut on the game. No plans on that one right now. I will be honest with you, but there is plans to do a new UV carpet. In fact, we've I guess I could tell you a little bit. We've dropped some. We have a collaboration with an artist. His name's Dirty Donny, and he is famous for doing blacklight posters. And we've done a few drops of 1/6 scale blacklight posters of Donny's art.
Cool.
And they just sell out so fast. And in fact,
I've seen them.
like,
I just never get them.
yeah, we like quadrupled the order with this last print run, and they were gone in like an hour. So we really meshed really well. He's like all in the same vein. He did he's worked with tons of bands. He's done skateboards and all that stuff. But probably the thing he's most famous for is Stern's Metallica Pinball. He did all the artwork on that and stuff. And yeah, we're working on a new UV mat that'll blend with the current one, but is done by Donny. So that's a little, yeah.
Well, since you brought it up, any chance of getting a 6-scale pinball machine? Is that just impossible because the
No.
engineering?
It's nothing's impossible.
All right, that's
My
a
man.
good sign, maybe. Well, you said you've been chasing Williams.
Fans,
I mean,
big fans of pinball. Yeah. Here.
yeah, me too. You said that it would blend with the current carpet.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean like they'll be able to kind of connect, or
Yeah, so
because-
you know what you have them. The ones currently, which is our classic design, they connect, right? And they blend together. So Donny's, you'd be able to, if you wanted to buy one, you know, you'd be able to put it in there, and it's going to look different, but it's also going to kind of blend in too, you know.
That'll be, because I like what you did here, because I have 12 of them, so it doesn't even look like there's 12 in there. Just the way you have them cut, they're just seamless. They can, it's 4x3 in here. This is 24-inch deep right here.
Okay. Yeah, they look
wide.
Great. I mean, it's been such a successful accessory for us. Some people even use them as mouse pads. Yeah, they just
I mean, they are.
Cool.
They are. I mean, same material, right?
Yeah, it's in neoprene, you know, but it's like this super all hand silkscreen UV printing. It's you know, was hard to do a few years ago, but it's getting easier now, just like anything, you know. It wasn't, black light posters kind of fell out of popularity, I think, a while back, you know, but we're bringing it back.
Yeah. We're bringing it back. Yeah. No, I love it. And it really adds to the display. I mean, that was a huge selling point for me.
Really does. Yeah. So I will say we have, some killer stuff coming for that is in the accessory vein. Yeah,
it's interesting.
Wow.
Well, you guys both have the stools. You guys have the stools, right?
The stools are. By the way, those stools are great. I mean, they're really quality.
We really tried to make them so that they will support 1/6 scale figures, no matter kind of what size they are. So, like, we put our Chewbacca on there, our Wolverine, and then also John Connor, you know, and made sure that they all fit on there, and it was sturdy. Like, just so in case anybody doesn't know, like our products are always done a little, probably overdone, extra heavy duty, right? So,
they're really great.
Yeah, so like the stool, you pick it up, it's substantial, right? It's not like
it's weighty. And yet when I first got one, I was like, holy shit! I'm like,
I've got.
This is good. This is not.
Shit.
And no offense, it's not what I expected. Right?
No, I mean, here's one of them. I just got the regular, and this is really thick, and I like the fact that you've got the rubber on the bottom here.
Yeah.
And then even the cushion is really nicely done.
Yeah,
I mean, the fact that you even have the stitching.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the authenticity, and if you look at the bottom, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's all die-cast metal, solid, good quality metal. So, foam in there.
I love being a middle-aged man talking about 6 scale video game cabinet stools.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, that's I did not have this on my 2023 bingo card, but here we are.
But they're awesome, and you have multiple colors too. And
some different colors
prints as well, right? I just bought the blacks.
Yeah. Have you ever thought of just doing making stools that have the logos of the video games themselves that you're making on them?
Yeah. So what we did with the first run of stools is we went with the video game companies, right? So we did like a Romstar, we did I mentioned Cinematronics, you know, so those kind of go with the Dragon Slayer and the Space Ace, and we made those LE, so you know they sold out pretty quickly and stuff like that. So I think maybe the next step would be to do game specific, you know. But a lot of people also just like the classic black or the classic red.
Yeah, those are great too.
You know? So
yeah, I went with all black, but I do like them though. I do like them. There's something in my head though. If I was like, well, I've got multiples and they're all different, I just figured, you know what, I'll just stick to just black for that. I do have a $2 super chat though, real quick, from Ash Chase. Dude, thank you, my man. It says, would you ever make a 6 scale pool table?
Oh yeah, that would be cool. If we did, I think it would have to be like a pool table that you would find in an arcade, meaning a bar table. If you guys know what I mean, like coin op, right? Where you line up the 4 quarters and you push in the lever and the balls drop down.
Yeah. That would be that's the mechanics of that are. I mean, and the balls going in when they go in the pockets, they have to roll That would be a hugely complex. I mean, even if you just made a pool table with a slate pool table that you didn't have to put quarters in, I'd buy it.
Yeah. Well, you probably wouldn't have to make it have the balls go in and roll. Well, maybe, I don't know, because you could just use the ones with the nets. Unless you want to have a full functional one that just roll, the balls go in.
Well, if you're going to go for the 4 quarters, man, you got to go for the full.
You kind of got to do it if you go on the 4 quarters. Yeah.
That's fucking insane, though. I mean, it's cool. Don't get me wrong, but I can see myself like opening up the side, pulling it, because that's how our arcade was. Like we had all the arcade games in one big area, and then behind the register area was a whole separate room with all the pinball machines, and and one other thing in there, which I actually am wondering about. But on the right side was all the pool tables. So it's huge. And if you go further right, it was the 9-footers.
Yeah.
9-foot tables that didn't, so. But in
bigger
that
ones,
pinball room, we had tabletops.
Yeah.
Is that something you may be considering doing, perhaps? Like a tabletop Miss Pac-Man, Tetris?
The cocktail versions.
Yeah.
We actually made a Missile Command cocktail table.
I didn't know that.
You'd have to do some digging, or I could send you guys a picture maybe later on or something. Turned out beautifully. The funny thing is we did a poll, and people were kind of like, stick to the uprights.
Really?
So that's what came out of that. Yeah. So, but that said, still think that there's definitely an opportunity to do cocktail table on 1/6 scale, because it did turn out really killer.
Yeah, especially because people are, if they're going to start making their own arcades, I mean, having a cocktail version, the benefit is for a display piece, you can have 2 characters sitting at the same game.
Yes. Yeah.
Across from one another.
Yeah, exactly. So it at the time, I'm just telling you guys at the time, and this was actually now a few years ago, and I mean, we've grown substantially since then. So, maybe we'll do another poll and see if that's something that everybody wants.
Yeah, you should poll the 6 scale community.
Yeah, that's
get out and poll action
figure
collectors and people that
Well, I think the ratio is obviously going to be 90%, regular arcades. I mean, I wouldn't obviously go all in, but on an occasion, you'd be like, oh, here's a cocktail
I would
table,
buy a cocktail Mrs. Pac-Man.
Me too.
Because I played a cocktail Mrs. Pac-Man a lot.
Yeah.
I think Miss Pac-Man was the best, and that's the one I played, the cocktail one.
Yeah, that's such a clean cocktail table too. I love it. Yeah, I agreed.
And it's got to come with glasses so you can fill them up with real whiskey.
Oh.
Thank you, Bob. So Bob, go ahead and put in the link of the Facebook for you guys here to follow them and make your voices heard. That's right. Seriously, because polls are, that's how you know.
It is. Yeah. And that's one good thing about technology is that you can access that type of stuff these days and get a good read.
How do you feel about your fan base interacting with your customers? Is it a good experience for you for the most part?
Oh yeah, for sure. We try to be. This is gonna just sound like I'm full of shit, but I mean, we really do try to be transparent with everybody, with what's going on and stuff like that. And that has come and really helped us grow and gain a good reputation with our community. And honestly, sometimes I'd rather hear a good criticism than, just, oh, that's so dope or whatever. It's like hearing something that's constructive and it's like, you made a good point. There's a really good chance, if it's possible, that we will implement it, and we really listen to everybody, because there's a bunch of smart cookies, and a lot of times we learn from them just as much as they might learn from us. There's like guys that are so hardcore that have been, working at arcades their whole life or know everything. Guys like 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗢𝗡, of TNT Amusements, just knows everything about this stuff. And, we tap him for questions here and there and stuff like that. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I'll go back to the fan page. We have a fan page on Facebook that Glenn's Retro Show started. And there's tons of creative ideas and creative people on there. So absolutely love hearing from them.
That's
yeah,
good.
It's super important to have those kind of resources available too, like you're mentioning. You know, if you could tap in and be like, hey, you know, what do you think about this? Or, you know, or someone could be like, well, you know, actually it was exactly like this. I remember, you know, to have that reference back, because dude, I'm telling you, everything, you know, level of accuracy on these machines is awesome. That was my biggest takeaway from it. Like you said, like it feels like, you know, it's just a shrunken down arcade.
Yeah,
for those
the
of you who don't know.
gameplay and everything is perfect.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I mean, so I really feel like, and I hope you do too, that when you're playing that game, you feel like you're obviously not playing the full size one, but you still get that vibe.
Oh, I still do.
Oh, totally.
For that game,
100%.
Yeah.
What I do sometimes is I'll just turn up all the volume and not even play, you know, and I'm just hanging out because it reminds me. It just brings me, it brings me back. I'm like, I just, you know, and to other people, they're like, turn that racket off or whatever. But for people like us, right, we just hear multiple games going off and we're like, oh, this is like, I could go to sleep. Like, it's soothing.
You just nailed it. If you guys like just listening to them in a track mode, that's what we always do. And that's why probably since Asteroids, I think, Asteroids. So before that, there's two games, Centipede and Tempest, don't have a track mode audio. They just run in a track mode, right? But now, since then, if a game never came native with the track mode audio, we had replicated track mode audio into the menu, so you could turn it on and you could still get some sound out of it. Because I agree, that is the absolute best, just having that ambient sound in the background, and it's so realistic, you know.
It just brings me back, dude.
And I mean, we don't fuck around with our audio either. I mean, it's serious. I mean, there's like a 3-watt amp in there. We spent a lot of time dialing it in, and because of the wooden cabinet and the way we put the position the speakers out the back, it gives you bass and it gives you substance.
It does. No, I was shocked. I was like, okay, this is these sound great. I mean, you crank them all up. Do. The whole, you know, you can hear it. You can, like, I'll go out in the hallway and, you know, the kitchen, I can hear them in here. Like,
it's an arcade going off in there.
Yeah, it is. The only thing I was wondering though, is this possible? Because, and I don't know if it is, I like the fact that everything's battery powered. However, could there, in the foreseeable future, I don't know if it's possible, we either like via a firmware update or anything, but is there a way that we could have an option to power them off in some fashion? Like, for example, like, I feel like I'm working at the arcade, because like when I'm done in my particular case, I got to go in and turn them all off, like one by one by one, and then turn them on. And I didn't know if there was ever, was that ever considered or thought of anything in the future of, like, is there a possibility to be able to turn them off completely? Or
it's a really good point. I mean, but honestly, it hasn't been something that we've heard a lot of complaints about or anything like that, you know. So yeah, it's a little bit of a pain in the ass going and powering each one on and off. I totally get it. Yeah, it's something. I mean, again, it's a good suggestion. If there would be some way maybe to control that with the USB hub, maybe. I don't know.
Something. I was just trying to run it through my brain the other day because, you know, for me it's a little different though, because this is, you know, not everybody will always have it on 24/7, and then, you know, I have like you know, the acrylic cases, and so, you know, it's not a big deal. But I started thinking about that, and then the more you get, let's say I'm at to 20 something arcades, you know.
And they all turn on differently too, right? We have different lights to turn on.
I know. Like I think, is it Space Ace is a push and hold flip, and then the Dragon, there's the toggle flip, which is fine. But I never knew if that was, you know, something that ever was a consideration or anything like that.
I'm actually, it's a good point, and in hindsight, I wish they all were the same to turn on, but I mean, it is what it is. Depends on what type of board you're working on, if you have to hold them or you can just switch them on, or, you know, it all depends on so many different variables. So we ended up just not worrying about it too much.
Well, that's fair. No, I mean, it's totally all right. But that was one thing I was thinking, because I mean, I was, in my head, I'm like, oh, well, maybe there's, maybe there's a whatchamacallit, like like I said, a firmware update or something. Like in my brain, I was just thinking, like, how can I do this? Like even on my own, I was like, is there a way I can just toggle it and figure it out? But
I gotta ask one of my buddies too, because I know he has Alexa, and I would never put that in my house. I don't need a microphone listening to me all the time. but he's totally cool with it, and he uses it for everything. And I know he goes like, turn the arcade on, and it works somehow. I don't know. Maybe they don't completely shut off. I don't know. But yeah, that would sure be slick if you could turn them all on and off at the same time. That would be slick.
Or like just in the option menu, right? To do like a battery, like, how you go in the options, you could change the brightness, things like that, right? Somewhere in the options would be like battery on or off or something.
Yeah.
So that if you just didn't want them on. So because that's how mine are. Like, well, I have the smart plugs. So for example, if I were to just, was it the left display? I'll just shut it all off. Boom.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So I've killed it completely, but you see what I mean? So now they're all running on battery. And then I'll turn them back on, and then
you get the lights
charging.
And now they're charging.
Yeah. And I love the fact that I don't have to be plugged in, right? Like you can sit anywhere and just play around for it, and they last quite a good while on their own batteries. But yeah, that was just one of my things. I don't know if it's, I might be the only one that I was like, hey, is there a way to do this?
I think everybody would think it was slick if they all turned on at the same time. I think you just opened a can of worms. Thanks.
Oh, well, you're welcome. I mean, I don't know. It was a thought. You guys out there, you can ignore it. You can ignore that. I'm kidding. I do have a $5 super chat though. Thank you, my man. Collection Obsession says, I want that 1/6 scale arcade game that John Connor was sitting inside of and playing. Oh, the one he was in, the big, I don't remember what game that was.
Afterburner.
Afterburner. Yeah. Oh.
Hydraulic Afterburner. I've been asked sometimes what would be my grail to do, and that would be it.
Wow.
That would be
Afterburner would be amazing.
Cockpit, right? With that hydraulic movement on the seat and stuff. Yeah.
Well, there was I'd
love to get Zach's on.
Didn't Star Wars do something like that too?
Star Wars Cockpit?
Well, there is a sit down of the Vector Graphics game. The Vector Graphics Star Wars game. There is a sit down version of that.
There is, but it doesn't move or anything. No. It's just all rigid. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, so that's obviously one that's going to be moving around and whatnot. And so something completely different than a regular arcade. Would there be, I don't even know if it would work, but would there be any consideration of doing like some of the shooter games like Time Crisis or Virtual Cop or, anything like, or like Wild Gunman or Hogan's Alley, that type, anything that had the gun attached to it?
We would probably get into non-playable at that point. Because
just to be like an attract mode, right? Because it'd be kind of hard to.
Yeah, it'd be hard to.
I don't know how you'd pull the trigger.
All the tech and pull the trigger and keep the guns and 6 scale and all these things where, boy, there's a lot of people that ask for Wild Gunman. All the time.
Back to the Future too. Marty and.
Yeah. What was it? Cafe 80s. What was the cafe that was in? And Back to the Future 2 is Cafe 80s or something.
Yeah.
Which is like reality now, right? Now that those.
Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. Yeah. So I wouldn't know. Yeah, exactly. Like it wouldn't work. It'd be kind of. Well, I wouldn't even say it'd be like the Coke machine because the Coke machine works, but something different like the change machine. You're just like, hey, this is here. I mean, it has a purpose. Obviously, it's a USB
or a candy machine with all the different candy bars.
Well, a vending machine would be great, but I would imagine, how would you even do that because of all the different
licenses?
It'd be like, here's an empty one.
You guys could always do parody brands.
That's true, but that wouldn't fit with your brand though.
No. Well, we do it sometimes. We do a little bit of the parody stuff when we can't get a license for something or something like that. Like I mentioned with the Cinematronics on the first Dragon's Lair, it says Replatronics. right? So as the manufacturer, and then as we went through all the legal mumbo jumbo, we got the trademark, and now we say Cinematronics. So sometimes we do stuff like that.
No, that works. I mean, you have to sometimes. I totally get that. Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Or it's like Marty McFly's Nikes, right? There's no swoosh on them with Hot Toys, right? But
Right.
Can you buy this swish? I think, right? Somebody probably sells it.
Yeah, no, like I don't know. I think I have them right here. So I had all these decals bought. So yeah, I've got like the Nike. I don't know if you can see this, but
Yeah.
it says Nike. I put the decals on them on the feet. The camera's
Yeah.
whatever.
So there's decals.
Yeah, so
it's
I did all.
blurry,
Like, I
but-
have all like. These are all the decals, man, because Hot Toys
shit.
wouldn't. See what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Oh, this fucking camera. But you
Yeah.
get my point. It's there.
No, yeah,
Uh,
I totally do. It's not like Hot Toys was going to go get the Nike license just to have that branding on there, right? So
No, all of it. I
totally
mean,
get
even the Mattel stickers for the hoverboard are there. Like, so you can, yeah, people will go out and do stuff like that. Sure. You know, on the, you know, third party side, you know, just custom stuff. Cause yeah, I mean, like Hot Toys wasn't going to, like you said, they're not going to buy all the licensing for that.
Yeah,
even if they
or
could.
otherwise you might be looking at $700 for a new fig.
Yeah. Right.
Something
Right.
like
So that's,
that.
you know, geez. Oh my goodness. There we go. I'll fix my lights because I turned them off. Is that working? Sorry, guys. It's weird. Wow. So October projected anyway for Ghosts and Goblins.
Yes.
Coke machines were just kind of we're just waiting.
Well, yeah, we're just waiting. I'd anticipate. I don't know. Maybe next week we'll ship pre-orders, and you know the way we do it is, if you pre-order, you're getting shipped first, and we're not going to put it on sale till 90% of the people at least have them in hand. It's just the right thing to do.
Yeah,
right?
it's good business.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And
agree.
it also adds incentive to pre-order.
Yeah, exactly. And
does.
also with the pre-orders, we'll send out emails to people who pre-ordered, and they get to see some behind the scenes stuff and production stuff and things like that. So you're kind of along for the ride, if it goes smooth or if it doesn't, which, I mentioned it earlier in the show, but our biggest challenge is 1/6 scale and the tech and fitting everything. And you can only make like electronics so small that as of today we get by pretty good. But when we try, like, with Space Ace, for example, on the dedicated Space Ace cabinet, it is such a small control panel, but yet we still manage to get the player select buttons along the right side. Space Ace, Captain, Cadet, right? And they all work properly like the real arcade machine, but what a pain in the ass. Just unbelievable. But we did it. So
no, even like with like Missile Command, I don't have Centipede, and there's a couple I don't have, but like even with Missile Command, I'm like the level of accuracy and like how everything works and the trackball and the different. I mean, it's for those who don't. I mean, because most people pretty much everybody who tunes in, we're all 6 scale collectors, and I've got a lot of people asking. I'm like, listen, like it's a real deal, man. I don't know how else to explain it. It's just they work. Like everything works.
Also,
it's functional. It's badass.
Like you said, you build them heavy duty when you can hold it. You can hold one up in one hand, and when you have it in hand, you can, if this makes sense, you can feel the quality.
Yeah,
it's not a rickety thing. Like, it's a heavy duty.
It's solid.
It's really solid, and I think that's one of the. And they've been that way since the beginning. I remember first opening up my Centipede, going, "Well, this is the real deal. Like, this is some serious stuff. This isn't just some rickety, small company fly by night. These people are. I mean, I remember looking. I didn't expect it to come with little quarters,
right?
And the way they're separately packed in a bag, and I'm like, wow, man, that's dope. I mean,
yeah. Thanks. It's funny though. Like if you even look at Centipede, since day one, I mean, I really appreciate that comment actually, because since day one we wanted to set standards, and from there, like,
I mean,
for
so
instance,
you can see here are the packet of quarters.
There you go. Yeah,
I'm moving everything around. Sorry.
That they come with, so you can see that. You know,
soon you'll be able to use those. And
I mean, how crazy is that?
Mm-hmm.
That's some crazy ass shit.
The only thing that I've tried to do here, I'll put this back up here.
By the way, this is the QBert instructions that I still don't. Since for 40 years, I've never known how to play QBert. Couldn't play it in the arcade. I own your version of it now. I still can't play it. And but even the stuff that, like, I just want to point out the other things that you include. In this QBert game, you include extra things like, you know, the game over sticker.
Yeah.
You know, and there's others. I mean, I bought QBert, I think, out of spite because I hated QBert, but you made it, and I'm like, oh, I gotta buy it. If that makes any sense. I don't even know what these stickers are.
Those are pinball, QBert pinball bumper stickers. We just thought it was such a cool design. We actually did a stool with that design too.
Well, and you put them in there.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, even your manuals. I mean, these manuals have that nice printed cover.
They're replicas. That's a replica of the original manual.
Oh, I've read this like 10 times. I still have no idea how to play the game. But hey, that isn't your fault.
Yeah, we love the accessories, and I mean that's kind of one of the main things with 1/6 scale with figures, right? Is the accessories, and we've kind of drafted off that, you know. So for instance, with Food Fight, the developer Jonathan, when they were field testing the game, he took a banana, like a plastic banana like mom would have with the grapes and stuff on the plastic fruit display, and he took a plastic banana and he cut off the end and he filled it with epoxy and he stuck it on the joystick so it had a banana joystick, right? And it was like, everybody thought it was really cool, but the banana was so tall and big that it was breaking the analog stick. So they decided to just go with the regular ball top, right? But for us, we're like, well, that's such a cool little tidbit and story of the history of the game. We just did a little TPR banana that you could stick on the joystick and then have that banana, you know? So, I mean, we were always trying to outdo ourselves with the accessories. And another fun one we did was pre-chewed bubblegum wads that are made out of resin, and they're stickers. So,
what?
Yeah, so you could put them under the control panel and stuff. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I totally need those. Shit.
Those were also in Food Fight. So you missed Food Fight.
I missed it, and that's what's crazy, because like I was looking at it, I was like, yeah, I'll get to it, and it was gone. I mean, like you said, it's
sold out fast.
It's new. You guys just put it out, and I'm like,
yeah,
it's going for like $500-600, dude. It's like shit. Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's that. Damn it. But you're right. Yeah, I love all the accessories so far.
Love them too. We love them too. And we're always trying to think of new stuff. And we'll probably start doing the gum maybe a couple more times so more people can get it and stuff like that.
There, I had to fix my camera was tilting. I don't know why.
One more thing with QBert. So Rob, I know you don't know how to play it or anything,
but I have it. I bought your product,
but you have it. And the good thing you do, because it's an awesome game and collectible and stuff. And one of the coolest things about it is when QBert in the original machine, it had a solenoid, a pinball solenoid, because Ghouls was mainly a pinball company,
right?
But QBert was their breakthrough huge title that Warren Davis programmed, and he's a good friend of ours and has done a lot of signings and stuff. And that's another fun thing we do is whenever we try to do a project, if we can collaborate with the original people. We started this with Centipede with Donny Art, and she was just blown away that we were doing this and the quality and stuff. So mean, she's an older lady now, and she's like a English teacher, and she agreed to sign some cabs for us, and we've tried to do that with every release, and Warren Davis just happens to live here in LA, and that worked out really good with signed cabs and stuff. But anyways, my whole point is that when QBert fell off, he would fall, and the pinball solenoid would go off as though he hit the bottom of the cabinet. Right, so he falls off the pyramid, and then boom, you would hear it. And we built in a little solenoid into our machine, so that actually is replicated too.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's the type of shit we do. We make sure if that was in there, I mean, that was also a pain in the ass, as you could probably imagine. But yeah, it was worth it.
That's amazing.
Because now I could talk about that's the coolest feature of that game. It was the hardest thing to do, but it was also the most fulfilling.
Well, it's fantastic.
I like the arcade.
Maybe I'll learn to play that game one day.
the autographed arcades is a nice touch too.
Yeah.
For a lot of people who know like who's involved or originally, and being able to work with them and knowing that maybe you can check, say what's up to Ed Boon and have him sign this Mortal Kombat arcade.
Yeah, exactly. And they all geek out on us because we go so far. They're like, "Really, you're doing that and this?" And it's like, "Yeah," and they're like, "Oh yeah, that's great." It kind of blows their mind. I still think, they're all. Thank God they're all still around, most of them, but they're kind of getting up there in age and stuff. And I don't think they ever thought we would be able to do what we do in 1/6 scale. So it's really fun.
It's awesome. Actually, this is a good question from Tess Jess Wood. Will you be able to ship internationally anytime in the future, or is that like a licensing thing? Or
Well, it is by license. So, for instance, with the Coke machines, we can't ship. We only ship Canada and US.
Wow.
Okay.
Big multinational company, right? So, starting to get into other territories, we're by far the smallest company in this category, and that increases the minimum guarantee, and they expect that much more money. Where in reality, 90% of our business is North America. So if we can get worldwide rights, we will, and sometimes there's an exception to that. So like with Ghosts and Goblins, Ghouls and Ghosts, we could ship worldwide with the exception of Asia. So there's always weird licensing things like that, so.
Yeah, I can see that. So, I mean, that's going to, for a lot of people, unfortunately, this is going to have to do aftermarket for the most part.
What I would suggest, though, if you're international again, is point you to the fan page where you can make friends, and they will, send you stuff.
Right.
That is also true. So the page that I'm a part is just the like one, right? Or is there like a group that I'm missing?
Yeah, there's the official, I think it's the official New Wave Toys fan page. I think that's what it's called.
Is it? Let's see. Just to double check it, because I don't think I'm in the group. Obviously, like the page, but
I think you have to be. It's one of those things where you need to like join it, and then they accept you.
Like go through the approval. All right, I got you. Yeah. So I'll try to find the link for you guys. I'll definitely make sure to put it in the description too for everybody on the replay or anybody coming back, because that's what it's all about, is having that community and being able to share. And like you're saying, if somebody can be like, hey, you know what, I could probably help you out over here and get this where you need to go. And I do like that from Snollips, a distressed cabinet with cigarette burns and chipped panels. So a battle damaged arcade.
We have them. We've done them. We call them overhaul editions. In fact, one of our QBerts is the exact replica of Warren Davis's, who was a programmer for QBert, that sits in his house. So we got it down to like there's like stains on the side, and we have those in there. It's like an exact replica of his beat up QBert machine. We thought that was really fun.
That's awesome.
And he was kind of blown away that we did that because it had special prototype artwork on the sides. Doesn't have the normal artwork. And then it had the swear word marquee, not the QBert marquee. And Ghouls coin door instead of just a non-branded coin door. So there's like some really cool details. So if you're a collector, the Warren Davis edition was really cool. We did Asteroids Overhaul was the first one we did, and we actually did the cigarette burns in the control panel too.
Oh, see,
yeah,
I need something like that. Thank you, Brad. By the way, it's the official global replicate. I just put a link in the chat right now, guys. It's here highlighted if you guys want to. That's that is
yeah.
the Facebook
Join in, guys. We'd love to have you.
That is awesome. That is awesome, man. I can't wait to see what's coming.
You really need, by the way, for your arcade, you really need an '84 Terminator with the punk rock jacket and stuff.
The Tech Noir.
The Tech Noir Terminator.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You know, Present Toys
I
is
have
doing
one.
a third. I don't. It's the only one I don't have.
Come on, dude.
Well, that's not true. I don't have DX13 either. What do you mean? Come on, dude. What more can I do? I missed them. I don't have the Tech Noir. I need to get them. But Present Toys is making the third-party John Connor,
right?
And he will take Marty's place on Missile Command.
Well, there you go.
Because he was playing Missile Command.
That Missile Command looks so dope, man. I mean, you know, so that little story there, why it has that large marquee is that's the prototype field test edition of Missile Command that they only made like 12 of or something like that. And players found the big marquee to be distracting. So, of course, there's the regular version of Missile Command that everybody will remember with the much shorter marquee. So we always try if we're, you know, doing a project to get into as much history and tell as much of the story as of the game as possible. And that's the perfect example right there. And, you know, we never cheap out. So for instance, the control panel has a different angle to it. So we made sure that you know, we had to tool 2 control panels. That's not cheap, you know, but we do stuff like that because it makes a difference to our community and everybody appreciates things like that. So that's why.
Yeah. And the other one, the one I have, the other one, it's much shorter. You know, the cabinet's much shorter, which I wanted because I wanted the different mine's between Space Ace and Asteroid. So it's loaded. I mean, I haven't, they're just sitting up there. I haven't put them, you know, where they're going to live, but I got to do it. Anthony's, I got to have an arcade. I got to have me an arcade.
You know,
yes.
And I'm working on I'm trying to work on a couple of videos that is showcasing like how I built it. But I mean, you can see I have columns in there that they're like 2x3 from Home Depot. I cut them. I wrapped them in some vinyl wood, you know, plating.
Yeah.
And
it's
so great.
Man. It looks really great. You did a good job.
Yeah, it's fun. I just little trinkets like my Bill and Ted had the phone booth, so I yanked it out of the pole and just double-sided tape it. I'm like, why not?
Where did you get the basketball game from?
I bought it from Big Bad Toy Store, and I forgot who made it. Bob Dylan actually posted it somewhere time ago in the chat. I can look at my order, but
I was just curious because did it come with those LEDs?
Oh yeah, whole thing lights up, dude.
I love that you have that. That's now I'm jelly. But
I have my.
Then again, I've
Michael
got
Jordan.
Tempest and Centipede. You don't.
Yeah, well, you know, fuck you, Rob. I got the basketball hoop with Michael Jordan playing. Thank you, Bob. Yes, MMM Toys. Here's a link right there for you. Yeah, I like it. And it adds to it. It's not straight like arcade, but it kind of feels more like a, you know, Castles and Coasters, one of those types of places. You know, if you had skee ball or, you know, things like that. They had the hoops.
Oh, MMM Toys makes that bar stool that I was looking at the other day. The Western bar stool, which you could add to the arcade and make it 21 and over.
You could. That's a good question, Joel. Will you guys plan on having like a TikTok account or anything like that, or
us?
Yes.
I mean, we're old. I mean, we don't really do TikTok.
That's a good answer. Great answer. I love that.
I mean, I'll be completely honest. I personally, I could give 2 shits about TikTok. I'm so busy. I don't have any time for anything like that.
Plus, the people on TikTok never went to arcades because they were gone already.
They were gone.
They wouldn't know what they wouldn't know what they are.
No, that is
Screw those
that is
kids. What do they know?
And it's just been funny because everybody's like, "God, we need to get on TikTok," and it's like we try and we're like, we don't know what we're doing. It's like,
Oh.
so it would stick to like our Facebook and Instagram and then Twitter.
Hey, they still have the shooting. They still have the shooting basketball game, and it's the same price as a New Wave Toys arcade piece. So
Yeah, it was like $150 or something like that.
yeah, it's a buck.
I don't
50.
remember, but yeah, somewhere around. And I was like, you know what? The colors, I was like, this is gonna work. This is
It
gonna
works.
work when I put
It
it
works
in
in
there.
there.
Yeah,
for
it
sure.
fits. It fit totally. And I'd love to get a skee ball game though, because I played skee ball as a kid.
Oh well, yeah, skee ball would be great. Obviously, for me, look, I know you can't talk about it, but pinball, that's what's up. That's what's up. So
oh man,
So,
just saying.
are you guys into digital pinball at all?
sure.
I have Pinball Effects 2 and 3 like migrated over. I don't know if you're familiar with those, the Zen Zen Pinball or whatever.
Yep.
Yeah. Interesting.
Farsight is the studio that did all the Williams games, all the Bally Williams games digitally. They did a pretty good job. I don't know. I'm a little on the fence. I way prefer real pinball.
Yeah,
Of
personally.
course. Yeah. But some
but-
of them are really neat, right? Like I got all the Marvel ones and the Star Wars ones, and then the effects happen and the camera turns, and the guys come down and start fighting each other, and I'm like, it's cool, But
it's definitely an evolution, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's neat. It's just not really my thing. I would never spend. It's funny. We bought a digital pinball machine by Toy Shock, just to check it out and stuff like that. And man, I think you gotta really step up with screens and processing power if you're gonna do it. You gotta do it right, so there's no lag and like the 4K, so everything the ball looks like it's proper 3D and stuff like that.
Yeah, but even if they could replicate that in every fashionable sense and in a digital format, it's not the same. Like rocking that fucking pinball machine and really have the feel.
Yeah.
No, it's not the same.
It's not the same. It really isn't. So definitely love the purest pinball stuff. And to me, the 80s pinballs are my favorite. I'm not really into the anything before that, the electrical mechanical stuff so much, but I love like that 80s Bally Williams are my favorite tables. Centaur is my favorite pinball machine. That's my grail. I want to get myself a real Centaur machine one of these days, and because that's the one me and my buddies always played every freaking day in the arcade. And
hey man,
brings back memories.
That's let's see. I think that there's one. Oh no, that's a different machine. I'm looking up your Centaur pinball machine here. No,
Haggis is actually doing a reissue of it. Haggis Pinball in Australia.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are they don't have one. They don't have one here.
I remember the Star Trek Next Generation and the Terminator.
The classic Star Trek the Motion Picture one too. That's great too.
Those are good. Both Star Trek ones are good.
Hey, here you go, buddy. I found one.
The trigger.
$6,000. A refurbished Centaur machine for $6,000.
That's really good price right there. That is when you guys remember when the Banning arcade pinball museum closed? Yeah, they were going. I think Centaur went for $9,000 with all the fees and everything.
Oh wow!
But these Haggis machines, they're redoing. Haggis is like a small Australian pinball company, and they look pretty good and stuff. But I feel like it's missing the soul of the original. So if I was to spend that type of money, where they're also really expensive. There's a $10,000 version and there's a $15,000 version. That's like crazy money to me.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. So, it actually saved money to buy a nicely refurbished original one, and
or a 6-scale one. I mean,
or a 6-scale one. You can just make it.
Just saying. No, yeah.
Yeah.
SJC though, thank you, my friend, for the super chat. Says any chance of a WWF WrestleMania arcade? Thank you, my man.
Well, I am a huge old school wrestling fan. I will say old school again, meaning I love the stuff from the 80s and early 90s mostly. I grew up in Canada, and we never got WWF. We got Stampede Wrestling from Calgary. And so it was like basically, I don't know if you guys are big wrestling fans or not. So but
back in the day.
Yeah, okay. So you know how there was territories, like NWA was in certain territories and AWA, and well, Stampede Wrestling was kind of like the Canadian territory for the prairies in the West. Alberta, Saskatchewan, and AWA was actually in Manitoba. But so all we got was this Calgary wrestling show, but it was Stu Hart, so Stu Hart is the father of Bret Hart and Owen Hart.
Oh, yeah.
And Jim the Anvil Neidhart was there. And so I was watching those guys when they were teenagers on this, regional broadcast. And British Bulldog, Dynamite Kid, Bad News Allen. Who else came from there? I mean, just a long list of wrestlers that got really big in the WWF later on in the 80s. So it's kind of neat. But also loved like wrestling magazines and looking through them, and just like things were so different back then, right? It wasn't like you could just go on the internet and watch anything you want. It was like, wow, I would love to see Abdullah the Butcher, when he's like always like cutting people's heads open and shit. And it's like, it was just the mystique was so much better when we were kids, I think, with stuff like that. I even think with music, it's like now you could follow your favorite artist and you could see every thought they ever have. Back then there was like element of mystique, if
people standing in line overnight waiting to get tickets.
I
miss all that. I miss all of that. I know you're right. You're like, oh, this is what I had for dinner tonight, and you're like, I
don't need to know that, bro.
Yeah, I remember because my first concert was in 1991. I was
what
10
was
years
it?
old. I was Metallica at Phoenix International Raceway in 91.
Oh, nice. 91.
Yeah,
so in Justice
91.
For All. No,
That's the Black Album tour.
Black Album, yeah.
Yeah. So, and it sucked. Well, it didn't suck. It was cool, but I think prior to that, James Hetfield had burned his arms in some pyrotechnics show.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
So he sat there. He didn't play guitar, and he was just all white bandaged up on both arms, singing. And I don't know who played the guitar.
Man, you
for
make
him.
me feel so old.
Why? Because 91 was my first.
Yeah.
What was your first concert there, Rob?
Kiss Dynasty Tour 79.
Oh, wow.
80.
Wow.
I went in the 7th grade. I went with Jeff Swafford and Pam Comstock. Pam Comstock was one of the coolest girls in my 7th grade class. She later went on to become a singer herself. She passed away. But that my dad insured the company Concerts West so he could get free tickets, really good seats. So and it was funny because my parents wouldn't let me go see a show, and I was a huge Kiss fan because when you're a kid, how can you not be? I was in the 4th grade, everybody gave everybody else Kiss Alive, the double album.
Mm-hmm.
It was either Kiss Alive or the Scorpions' Love Drive. I don't know why. Those are the two records we always gave each other. It's like, you get Love Drive? Yeah, man. Good for you.
Do you remember the Kiss trading cards? I remember that being a big thing in the 70s. And
Kiss was they merchandised. Mego made the 12-inch. Talk about 12-inch, the big Kiss figures. Those are great.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah, and
wasn't there an 8-inch or a 7-inch figure set too that everybody had of Kiss back then?
Yeah, and then McFarlane in the 90s made Kiss figures.
Right. Yeah,
that were great.
It's funny. I used to be a buyer for a retail chain called Virgin Megastores.
Oh yeah, I used to go. I lived there in LA. It was the greatest store ever.
Yeah,
Virgin
like
Records?
on Sunset.
Yeah.
Okay.
We went to the Sunset every midnight on Monday night because they would put out the stuff that came out on Tuesday at midnight.
Launch stuff. Yeah.
So you could shop for 15 minutes and get the stuff that came out for the week.
Yeah, exactly. So I was my categories were video games, PC games, and collectibles. So I bought all the McFarlane stuff back in those days, and I thought he was really cutting edge back in like the mid 90s, later.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah. Nobody was doing what he was doing.
But I still have my Bob and Doug McKenzie in package.
That was a great set too.
Yeah, really cool with the backdrop.
Yeah.
It's probably my favorite movie of all time.
Dockinator says the Kiss Psycho Circus figures. Yeah. Those are good.
Wow.
And then he did a slap shot. He did some really cool shit.
Yeah, he did the brothers.
Hanson Brothers.
Brothers. That was a good set too, because it came with the stand with you could set all three of them up
on the ice and the backboard. Yeah. Man, it's very good stuff.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Nobody was really doing 6 scale then, though. That was at that time. I think
it wasn't until Hasbro brought back Star Wars 6 scale figures in the late 90s that I started collecting figures again.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was when I got back into it.
And they did G.I. Joes too, didn't they?
Yep.
From the same time.
Yeah. Yep. Damn.
And they made 12 6 scale figures, Star Wars figures I still have, like Chancellor Valorum from the Phantom Menace. No one's made him again.
Oh my goodness.
Because it was Terrence Stamp. I'm like, I'd love to have a Terrence Stamp action figure. So and then they made it. They made a General Zod, a 6 scale. Like Kenner made it, or somebody made a 6 scale General Zod that I have. It's not that great, but it's still cool to have.
Oh, for sure.
Well, that's what we're all into. We're all collectors. I mean, clearly. So like having all this stuff again is just. Awesome.
What I gotta say, what I love the most is, and this is really the crux of the company, is like making the things we wish we had growing up.
Yeah,
that's how I always put it. And it was like, well, yeah, you could buy a mini arcade when I was a kid, but it was a Coleco one, and it was like an LCD game, and it looked like shit. And
and it only had like 2 levels if you wanted to play Donkey Kong.
And it was like not even
what the hell, man.
It wasn't even Donkey Kong. It was like some weird rendition,
Yeah, it was not cool, man. Not cool.
So really, the whole Replicate line is actually an evolution of that Coleco arcades from when I was a kid. So it all stems from there. Well,
it's interesting how you guys have served 2 markets. I mean, if you just want to buy the machines because a New Wave Replicate product, you can do it if you're a video game fan. But then there's a whole new, I just keep looking at your display, Anthony, and I'm like, you don't just have the arcade, but now you've taken these arcades to a whole nother level by making an arcade, actual arcade.
Yeah, like my own
And the thing is,
your own touch on it.
Yeah, those you can play. All of those are playable if you want to play them.
Yeah.
But also when you turn it into something like that, it's art. So they work on a number of levels. Because did you know that when you first did Centipede and Tempest, that I was really surprised. This is a question I wanted to ask you. So the Tempest, obviously the controls in things like Tempest and Robotron with these really fast moving games are really important. Like you don't want any slippage, because then and I was really impressed the very first time I started playing your Tempest machine, how accurate it was.
Oh, thanks.
Was that hard to do?
Yes.
To get the coordination between the spinner and the game?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was a lot of work. It all started, of course, we started with Centipede with the trackball we needed to develop.
Yeah.
And then we followed up with Tempest with the spinner we needed to develop. So probably not the best choices on my part out of the gate. We probably could have started with a simple joystick game. Would have been really a lot easier to do. But kind of tend to want to do more. And sometimes it backfires because it takes more time to get it done.
Well, that was really impressive, the Tempest, the gameplay. because
Yeah,
I was so impressed with how tight. Because if that was one of the fun things about playing Tempest, is that you could spin it. It was such an accurate controller.
Mhm.
If you spun
Yeah.
it between 2 fingers and were playing like this, if you were, it was really important that you had the control over that, and you made it work with that game. Like there's no slippage at all. I mean, it really worked. Even when you swapped out the controller to make it bigger, so human fingers could play it.
Yeah, exactly.
Dude, it's awesome.
I mean, it's funny because of action figures, 6-scale figures are always bitching, or collectors. We're always bitching and moaning and complaining, but you guys are way ahead of our complaints.
Oh yeah.
Wow, that's a nice thing to say.
Yeah, I'll agree with Rob. Other than and that's not even a complaint. With the power, just one thing I just mentioned.
Yeah, no problem. That was a good suggestion.
but no, seriously though, like I have no complaints, because Rob's right. Like we will tend to be like, they cheapened out on this, or this is like some leather that's falling apart. Why did they only give me one left trigger hand when I could, weird things like that in figure form. But the arcades, no, seriously, everything. I couldn't ask for anything more with them.
And the power thing would be great, like obviously, but you guys are thinking about products on an individual level. But now when you look at things like people are making their own arcades, obviously having one switch that would turn everything on.
It's a good idea.
But you couldn't. I mean, on your old games, like I feel the same. That was the first thing I asked you, Anthony, in your arcade. I'm like, do you have a switch where you can turn them all on, or do you have to turn them on individually? And you're like, nope, I got to turn them on individually.
Yep.
Well, it's work. You got to put in the work to really enjoy it, I guess.
Like I said, I told you I feel like I'm running a fucking arcade, like real life again. I'm like, well, got to shut it down for the night. Let's turn, But no, but at the end of the day, though, no, everything is like, the quality is there. The quality is there.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I gotta say, because we're all from a background of working for big companies that won't let you do things properly. Okay. So for instance, I'll just give like a little example. So if I was making like Gears of War Lancer full-size 1-to-1 scale prop at my former job, and the cogs are so tight when you're looking at things that like an 80-cent speaker was like, no, you can't have a speaker.
What?
And it's like, well, why not? We have the chainsaw effect, and we have like the sound effects. We have all these LEDs, and it was like they had to go without a speaker, because there's just like all compromises like that and it's usually not like the product guys. It's usually coming from higher ups to cheap out on stuff.
Yeah, they're just bottom dollar. Like, what can we do?
How much
lowest and
fucking pennies can we squeeze out of this? We want to make money, obviously, but product comes first, and your experience comes first, and that's why we're still here today. And that's why we've grown over the years, and it goes a long way. You just said it. That's the way people feel, and we just keep on trying to get better. So,
another thing that I wanted to mention that we haven't talked about yet is the actual packaging that the games come in. Your packaging is aces, or should I say space aces? It's nice. It's the way the what you use. Is it UV coating on the boxes? But the way you flip the boxes up, they're very collector friendly.
Yeah,
and the boxes themselves are works of art.
Yeah, thanks.
I mean, they're definitely you and even the that kind of it's not wet, but I call it wet styrofoam.
EVA is what it's called.
Okay,
yeah,
that styrofoam is awesome because it doesn't flake.
Right.
It doesn't get all over everything. And
yeah,
I feel, I mean, that's another thing. You open up, it seems like I'm shilling for you right now because you're on the show, but that's not what it is. I mean,
you're like, I love your styrofoam, dude.
It's all about the details. All about the details.
Kidding. No, but
no, you're right.
I know
you're right.
It seems now that you're making fun of me that I said that, but But it's true though. Anybody that buys your products, and when you first get your first New Wave toy, if you haven't got it yet, you will be struck by the way the flap of the box folds up and the way it opens and how it sits in that UV styrofoam. You're gonna look at the quality goes all the way down to the packaging and all of it. Would you not agree, Anthony?
No, I 100% agree with it. I was just teasing because you're saying I'm not chill.
Oh no, but I know
like,
people are probably thinking, why is Rob talking about the styrofoam that it comes in? I mean, but
dude,
it's
because
true,
it's the whole package.
Yeah, it is because you guys have thought about this on every level. Because when you get styrofoam and your fingernails get caught on it immediately, it's flaking everywhere,
flaking off, and there's little pieces all around the house.
And then if it's something like your product, it sticks to your product. And it was great that you went with that. It feels like that styrofoam or that UV is just better protection.
It is. It's more
because
dense.
there's give in it, so there's probably less if it's jostled. There's less.
Yeah, it's not like rigid, cheap styrofoam that can kind of exactly like.
So it absorbs. It absorbs the
and like snug.
Yeah, I know that's what you're. I bet you didn't think you were going to talk about this tonight, did you?
I really appreciate it though, because you guys are hardcore and you appreciate these things. And it's none of it's by chance. It's all by design, right? And it's like how important is the packaging? Super important. How important is it that it gets to the customer and it's unharmed? Equally as important. And really the most important thing is that the product is okay. But with our packaging, we actually use 3 boxes with our Replicades, right?
I was going to say, I've got one over here. I can't reach it, but
that's okay. So, I mean, there's a shipping box that goes on, and it's like thick flute, and and that's the box that always gets destroyed, and that's fine. Because underneath that is what we call the overbox, which replicates basically like a refrigerator box of the boxes that they used to palletize and ship arcade machines in, and they still do. They're shipped like in a cardboard corrugate thing on a pallet, right?
Yeah.
So we replicated all of that, so that's why you'll see on those boxes it says, "Do not fork from this side." It means forklift, and
I was wondering that.
Yeah, so that's what that is.
On there too. Wow.
They're actual replicas of early arcade shipping boxes. So that actually works really great. There you go. So there's the outer
there
box.
You go.
Yeah. So here's and by the way, I mean, even the outer box has the Space Ace logo on it.
Yeah.
And so when you open it up, then like I mean, this is incredible. So you open it up and you've got the inner box.
Right. That's the replica of the real arcade shipping box.
See, I didn't even know that. I didn't know it was the replica. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep
doing G. You'll get her out.
That's amazing. And now, oops. And what's amazing?
Don't worry, he got foam in there.
Look at this. I mean, even I didn't realize this side up fragile. Do not fork this side like forklift.
Yeah.
And you've got the Animatronics incorporated and everything. I mean,
yeah. So that's what it's meant to look like. I wanted to put a little wooden pallet at the bottom, but it really kind of. So,
and I want to show you guys. I mean, just because I want to redeem myself that I'm talking about packaging. but so it opens like this. You've got these flaps here.
Yeah.
And then it opens like this.
And boom.
So and then it slides out. Obviously, hang on. Let me get it to come out.
There he is.
And so then what I love about these boxes, so here's the actual box for the game, but you also have spot UV printing on the sides. So you can see that this is spot UV printing here, spot UV printing here. Mm-hmm. And I mean, this is a dope ass box. Like you don't want to throw this shit away. And then the way these boxes open too, let's see which side is it? Is it this way?
Yep. You got it.
Or is it? Hang on. What am I doing? What am I doing wrong here?
No, you had it right. It's on that side.
Oh yeah. Okay. So, and then how it opens, again, look at that.
Boom, more
Pretty
art.
awesome.
More art.
I mean, that's more artwork. And then here's the styrofoam I was talking about.
EVA. Yeah.
EVA, and it's I mean, it's really great, you know, and I can't
Well,
tell
show us
you
again,
how great
Rob,
this is.
the greatness of.
I know. I'm like, it's a fucking box, but
That's what makes it awesome, though.
dude,
like,
come on, look at that.
look at that. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Matt does a great job with the packaging. We, again, from day one, they all match. They all look good together.
I mean, this
really
is a
nice
display
Yeah.
piece unto itself.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's shrink
Top
wrap
quality.
too. You know, when you first get it, so
Yep.
that's sealed at the factory, and just protection. I mean, look, you put so much effort into a product, you better make sure it's protected, and why not have a nice looking package? You know.
No,
So,
I mean, this stuff is dope, dude.
thank you.
Rob
Thank
should do
you.
boxes only review channel.
You know,
Workshop. Oh, yeah.
it's funny. There's some guy, Glenn. He actually keeps even the shipping box, like Rob is showing there, and he's just like, guys keep everything. It's pretty interesting. But you know what? It's smart, because if you were to ever resell it, it's probably be worth more if you got that original shipping box, right?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
And look, I mean, I know it's funny to say, but as you can see, it's one of the best boxed and shipped products of any collectible that I've ever bought in my life, to be honest.
Well, thank you.
It really is. And it can't be cheap. There, you could have made it much cheaper.
Oh yeah.
I mean, when you're printing those boxes and you're doing spot UV printing, you don't have to do that, but you do anyway.
Yep. And we make sure we use good flute and it's nice and smooth, and we use a good printer. You don't ever cheap out on all that stuff.
No, that's again, your price point stays where it's at.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like 3 boxes. I mean, it's more than that, but you know what I mean? Just the quality of everything and the care of everything, the detail, and just the packaging alone.
I mean, I didn't
Then
realize
on
that
top of it,
the actual cardboard, the inner cardboard box is a reproduction of the actual full-size shipping box that the video came in the first place.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
See, this is what I was saying in the beginning. It's like that's so meaningful and means a lot to us, because you just learned another thing, another layer of detail.
Yeah.
You know, so.
I mean, but that's the funny thing, and now that I know, Charlie the Unicorn says that I kill him sometimes. 6-scale boxes and 6-scale chairs. Well, I have to tell you, I mean, above my, I have, you can't really see, but it's above these shelves. I have Hot Toys boxes on the top of the shelves, just displayed. The ones that I've taken figures out of, you know, just to have them up there because they look cool. You know?
Yeah,
yeah.
It's decoration you can stick up high that you don't. It's just there.
Yeah. Stick it up high and on the top shelf. They're a little bit bigger. Yeah, for sure.
Yes. Bob Dylan was wondering if you have any 6-scale figures currently. I know you surely do. You were talking about earlier, but
do I own any?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I bought a few. I had to get the Marty McFly, the first one with the red vest.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that I loved it because he was short. And I'm like, thank God they didn't make him like 12 inches tall.
Yeah.
He's the right height. And I really dig Hot Toys. Just
me too.
Yeah, I mean, I like them because of the way they started. They never started off as a big, huge company.
Nope.
You guys know the story? You probably know it better than me.
They were making third-party figures. Like they made a Tom Cruise, and I have their George Lucas figure, the director.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So they were doing kind of knocky-off type things and customization in like a little tiny shop in Hong Kong. Look at them now, man. That is
blew up.
Very impressive company. I respect them a lot.
Clicked out. He'll probably be right back. It's happened before.
No problem. And then I have that, and I've bought in a few. I want to get the Dude. I want to order the Dude just because I love
Big Lebowski.
Yeah. And but yeah, I have a few more. I'm a big Chewbacca fan, so I bought the Hot Toys Chewbacca with the furry fur. I thought they did a really killer job on that too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. No, I've most of whether I have the original Star Wars stuff, but everything else is all. I mean, it's all 80s. You know, Jack Burton and. You know, I got Commando, Aliens, Terminator, Robo. You know, everything 80s, Ghostbusters. That's the era, right?
Yeah, no, for sure. Do you prefer Hot Toys? Do you have? What do you think of the other companies that have come on over the years? You know, gotten into the space and stuff.
I love it. I think Hot Toys may have some of the best quality right now, but they've been doing it for 23 years now, so I mean it's expected. But seeing other companies, you know, like Blitzway doing the Ghostbusters or Bill and Ted, and you got 3-0 doing the Stranger Things kids, and
I like those. I like the kid ones.
Yeah,
not in a creepy way.
Well,
right. No, that's funny that you said that, because I say that all the time on my show. I'm like, you know, I was like, I really want more kids in my collection. And I was like, wait, how do I say this? Everybody's like, dude, I'm like, no, I'm like, I want small children in my collection. And I was like, fuck.
Well, look, when you have an arcade, you want age appropriate figures from the 80s. Like, look, you know what someone's got to do. I don't like this movie at all, but these figures would sell. Somebody has to do the Goonies.
God, I can't believe that.
Well, yeah, I would.
People would buy those.
You don't like the Goonies?
Fuck.
I love the Goonies.
I reviewed the Goonies for my high school newspaper. I said it was the only movie I'd ever seen that has gratuitous teenage kissing in it.
Yeah, but it's the Goonies, bro. Like,
dude, I was too old for the Goonies, man. And it was like, come on, Richard Donner, what are you doing, man?
Wow, I've never heard anybody not like the Goonies.
I know. I am. It's the one blind spot that I have in my life that I can't get past.
Do you still feel that way? Have you watched it recently? Or
I watched the Goonies one time in my entire life when it first came out in the theater,
and that was good enough.
But you know what? I mean, it is what, 40 years old now. It's or no, it's 1985. It's going to be the 40th anniversary. I mean, I might have to buy the 4K and give it a rewatch.
Come on, man. Yes, you were the chosen one.
I think you should.
You know, like Goonies.
Yeah. I'm the same with any new Star Wars movie. I've only ever seen all of them once.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
No desire to watch The Phantom Menace ever again in my life.
I can understand.
Oh, you were like you were like me in the theater then, huh?
Fuck, I was like, what is this Jar thing and all this?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what's going on. This is boring.
Not good.
Fucking hated it.
I get flack for saying it, but I'm with you. I just remember the days. I remember going to see it and I was like, what the hell did I just watch? And
I stood in line, went to the midnight fucking thing, packed theater. It was fun. Everybody had lightsabers and shit. And it was like the first movie in forever. And before that is what was probably my biggest collecting of vintage Star Wars stuff was that gap, where there was nothing, right?
Yeah.
Between, kind of in the mid 90s, or I guess early 90s.
Yeah, we had the novels. I don't know if you read any of those.
The novels. Yeah, I'm not much of a reader though, but anyways. I don't think I could even ever watch Phantom Menace ever again, or any of those for that matter. I always go see them when they come out just to check it out. But right. I will say this: I thought The Mandalorian was okay.
Yeah.
What'd you guys think?
I like season 1 and 2. Season 3 kind of lost me a little bit, but
season 1's the only one I've seen actually. But I liked that one. I thought that was good.
Well, you might want to at least watch the finale of season 2, maybe.
I might watch season 2.
Season 2 is still pretty good. It had a good I don't want to ruin it for you if it hasn't already been ruined for you. It's been like 3 years, but I would watch season 2. Season 2 is pretty good. Season 3 it kind of fell off a little bit for me, but I enjoyed that. But I'm more original style Star Wars, instead of I don't know. The prequels didn't really hit for me.
Me either. Those were the same. It was like, it's okay, but
Yeah, it's tough. It's because those are I don't know. I guess that's what we grew up with.
I'd rather watch the original Laserdiscs over at Rob's place.
You can do that.
You probably got them.
I do.
You got him.
Yes. Well, I also have the original versions on Blu-ray as well.
There you go.
Oh, I did. I didn't even know they did that. So
Well, I
you
might
mean
have
the
to make
unaltered
them for-
bullshit that they
Yes.
added?
Yes.
I didn't know those even came out.
They didn't.
Oh, they
No, yeah.
didn't.
No.
Oh, wow. Okay,
That's why I can make them for you.
Nice, because I do have the VHS box set, the 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗖𝗢𝗡 one.
Yep.
It was right with Darth Vader, half his face on it. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I still
I have those
that.
laser discs too.
Okay, I have that in cellophane still. I don't know how those tapes held up over the years, but I still have not opened it. I really want to get a VCR and a CRT and watch them.
It's really the only way to go.
It's really
I don't like
it's
the
really hard
specialized
to go
ones.
back and watch NTSC video though.
Is it? I haven't done it.
It's really. I mean,
wanted-
high definition. Our normal video now is 6 times better than
That's crazy.
and 4K is 4 times better than Blu-ray.
Yeah, but listen,
That's
I would
wild.
say I could play one of these older games. We could just say Street Fighter, for example. And you got your scan lines. It's old school CR, it's old school feel, and you're like, wow, I'm right at home. So I don't know, man. If I busted out a VCR and an old CRT, maybe I'd be like, yeah, this is bringing me back.
Sure, dude. Go right ahead. Try it.
Yeah.
I am gonna try it. I'm gonna report back because I am serious. I want to get a good VCR. I can't believe I got rid of my CRT TVs when I was an idiot. But yeah, get something decent. Did you guys know that they did HD VHS?
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I didn't even know about that. I just stumbled upon it on YouTube one day, and I'm like, "That is really." They made like 90
it
of them,
didn't last very long.
but they sure looked good.
No, they didn't.
They looked really good though. Holy.
I know I lost a chat in here right around. There we go. And we kind of talked about it earlier, but for him coming in, was wondering if we had any info about more licenses to be allowed to sell in Asia, because that's where he's at. And I don't know if that's the same as what we talked about a little bit earlier as far as shipping, but
Yeah, man, that's with the Japanese companies. That's the hardest one to get for some reason, because it's like they do the licensing from Japan. So, for instance, with Capcom and our next game that's going to be dropping, Ghosts and Goblins, yeah, well, there will be none. But again, make a friend, and work it out. Lots of people do that on the on the fan page.
Well, fortunately, he is a friend of mine, so we're halfway there.
Okay, well there you
We're
go.
halfway there.
And you know what? I'll send to Anthony. I'm going to send you. I have there's a really interesting version of the original Star Wars called the Team Negative version, where it's made to look like it's projected on a screen.
Really?
So it's the unaltered film, but it also looks like you're watching it's really cool. It looks exactly like it looked, so you can see the grain pattern and stuff. It's really neat, and I'll send you the file.
Well, that would be cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll check that out.
you know what I'll do is
cool.
I'll put it on a WeTransfer link and send it to you right now.
Oh yeah. Oh, well, that can work. That can work.
Yeah,
Nice.
that would be awesome.
Send it over to me too.
yeah, I will.
Yeah, that will be awesome.
But don't tell anyone.
No,
No, we won't tell anybody. It's our secret here, guys. By the way, guys, hit that like button, man, and subscribe if you're new to the channel. Obviously, we've got links here below too. Please check out the Facebook group for New Wave Toys, and their website link and everything is in the description below. Guys, I'm telling you, he's doing such an awesome job over there with these arcades.
Yeah, man, and those boxes.
And the boxes and the foam. They're amazing. No, they really are. All jokes aside. All jokes aside, it's amazing. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's do we have anything else we want to chat about before we wrap, or anything specific you might be able to talk about, or that's pretty much?
I'm trying to think if we missed anything that's exciting
got
and new.
The Coke machine's coming.
Put your emails in the private chat, and I'll send it to you right now.
If you're looking for to pick up one of these 1/6 scale new Coke machine or Coke Classic machines, I would say they'll probably be on sale in about 3 weeks if I had to guess my best. Again, getting our approval locked up with Coke, and then shipping, giving it lead time to get to everybody. And you know, we have a good amount of customers up in Canada too, so we tried to ship those first, and it just makes everybody feel better when most everybody has their machine before we launch it to the general public.
Yeah.
But
of course.
Yeah, and it's important to us. And but if you're interested in that or anything else, the best thing to do is join our email list. So go to newwavetoys.com and sign up, and you'll be the first to know. There's always exclusive coupons and offers and stuff like that. And sometimes we don't even announce things because we will sell out so quickly just based off our community that we communicate directly with our email list. So that's definitely the best thing to do.
Okay.
Yeah, I got on the mailing list now because I wasn't sure about that either back then. I was like, oh, okay, here we go. This is how you want to.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I appreciate that you do that kind of early, adopter mentality, sort of. You get a little bit of discount. You guys get the first dibs type. It's awesome. So you guys need to go.
It's a win-win. It really is. If you're a collector, I mean, which probably everybody here listening and stuff is. It's.
Oh yeah.
We try to look after. We're all in this together. So we wouldn't be here if we never had our awesome community, and it's our customer retention has just been phenomenal. Like even since Centipede, we have like in the high 70s. Those people are still our customers today.
Dude, absolutely.
Everybody's stuck with us. So everybody listening, thank you. I want to thank everybody for your support and ongoing support. We really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for giving us your time.
Yeah, I mean,
it's been fun.
Yeah, this is awesome. I mean,
and you're a box lining, the UV
EVA.
I did notice that you guys did sell. You were having that sale on the boom boxes and everything, and
our boom boxes is another really fun thing because we do 1/6 scale. And they actually sound pretty good. I mean, I think, Rob, you said you had one, right? The 1/6 scale.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the size, I mean, we've really tried to dial in the sound. It sounds pretty good for 6.
Yeah, it's just hilarious that it exists at all, and you can get the leather case too.
You can. Yes.
I mean, it's just, yeah.
Look at these guys in the chat. Hot Toys hasn't dropped shit. There's like, oh yeah, Brenda's like the detail, like nothing's dropped. They're trying to get a rise out of me. Looking on Hot Toys' page right now, I'm like,
well, didn't Hot Toys just drop? Besides Fennec, what did they drop today?
Well, I mean, they dropped this Winnie the Pooh thing, but I mean, it's just a cost baby. Like,
no. But then they drop. But they dropped. You know what? I know what it is. It's,
Spider-Man and Miles announcement for the game.
No, not that one. But they dropped something today, didn't they? A figure?
Cad Bane came out.
Cad Bane, that's what it was.
Yeah. Cad Bane came out. Oh, I would be remiss if I didn't ask. I know my buddy Chris has been wondering this. Is there any chance of making like one of those boxing machines?
Like flick it with your finger and like.
Just one of those. Yeah.
They're like Tecmo, the Tecmo football.
Yeah, we're looking at all sorts of stuff like that. It's all stemming from Zoltar.
That's what I thought, right? Because you're going into a different style of.
Yeah, weird things like that are like the love tester, like crazy shit like that. Yeah,
the love tester with the red lights.
Yeah, you know.
That would be great. I'd have two figures like hold, whatever.
Yeah,
that would be especially for parties. Take it out.
Oh yeah,
let's do the love tester.
We have some more 1/6 stuff coming that fits in with our whole nostalgic, 80s and the arcade and everything. You guys are going to want to stay tuned, and I want to come back on when we announce this stuff, because
you're always welcome.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. You guys will dig it.
Are you going to announce anything at Comic-Con?
Yeah, we are going to do something at Comic-Con.
Do you guys have a booth?
We don't. We're trying to get one. We have been trying for years. And we're on these waiting lists and stuff, and we're actually waiting for somebody to drop out, but it's so popular.
You should call the dudes at Mondo. They have a whole city this year.
Do they?
Oh yeah,
They do.
Because of Funko. Because of Funko bought them, or whatever.
Because Funko bought them, and they literally have a whole Funko Mondo town. I mean, it's like a little town on the floor.
Yeah,
because Sideshow's not there this year.
They're not?
No.
I was about to joke. I was like, maybe you could take Sideshow slot because they bailed out.
I think Mondo did.
Wow.
I think that's so Sideshow's not going.
No, but Mondo will definitely be there. We got Andy, and I don't know if Andy and Alex are going to be there. I don't remember if they're going personally, but yeah, Mondo's going to be there. They're going to have a big thing, and yeah.
Are you guys going?
I'm not. I think you were going, right, Rob?
Yeah.
No, I have to prepare. I have to go to Vegas in August 1st for the Star Trek convention, so I can't do both cons. Yeah, I can't do both cons. So,
what's funny? Thinking about how far these cons have come.
You're crazy.
Isn't Star Trek kind of the granddaddy of them all, right?
The first Star Trek convention was in 1972. And they thought a few hundred people would come, and like 5,000 people showed up.
Yeah.
And that was the first convention, and the cast was there, and they thought it was insane. Like, why are these people here? They didn't get it at all.
Oh yeah, they didn't get it. They didn't get it at all. But yeah, I mean, so yeah, we have the convention August. Well, I got to be there August 1st. But yeah, the first week of August in Vegas. So that's gonna be pretty cool. Otherwise, yeah, I just go to San Diego Comic-Con, then to Vegas. It's like back to back. I mean,
yeah, too much.
Yeah, I don't think you're doing it though, Rob. I think.
Yeah, I mean, normally, I used to go and stay for all 5 days, but now I don't, because we have a panel that we've done. It might be the dumbest panel ever. At least that's how we designed it in 2002. It's now 2023 and we're still doing it. So
it can't be that dumb.
It's called Starship Smackdown. And it was a result of us. Every Sunday night we used to go to this joint called Lola's here in LA that was on Fairfax. And I went there for years. It was kind of like my version of Cheers. And we went every Sunday night, all of us. And we'd have these conversations. Could the Battlestar Galactica take on the Starship Enterprise? And we would have these hours-long impassioned conversations that were half serious and half tongue-in-cheek. And we decided that we were going to do a panel, a Starship Smackdown panel. And we thought it would just be a goof. But then at the end of that, the panel went off. It was great. It was a great panel. And, people have to report back to the con what their favorite panels were. And our panel got more response in 2002 than any other panel. So we've been doing it every year. And one year, this blew me away. Neil deGrasse Tyson came to our panel. And I was like, what the fuck is what? And I'm sitting there going, I can't believe we're going to do this 𝗕𝗘𝗥𝗢 panel in front of Neil deGrasse Tyson. I think this was like NPR did a story on us one year. One spaceship. You can look it up. One spaceship to rule them all, and listen to the story that NPR did. Well, when Neil deGrasse Tyson came, at the end of and I thought he would stay for 5 minutes and leave. There's no way he's going to stay for 2 hours. Dude stayed for 2 hours. And at the panel that Starship Smackdown, it was a tie. It was a tie between the refit Enterprise from Star Trek: The Motion Picture and the classic Enterprise from the original Star Trek series. And then we throw it out to the audience. We're like, does anybody want to speak about who should win? Neil deGrasse Tyson raises his hand. and he gets up, and there's probably 1,000 people in this room.
Yeah.
And he gets up and he makes this impassioned plea about the classic Enterprise should win, because when Star Trek came on the air in 1966, no one had ever seen a spaceship like this before. And what must it have been like to audiences of the day? And you can look it up. Look up at Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's on YouTube. People put YouTube Neil deGrasse Tyson at Starship Smackdown. It was insane that and we're sitting there, and this was back when they still let us drink, because we were like, people would bring us bottles of Jameson, and we're like drinking JMO on the stage, getting hammered.
Nice.
we can't do that anymore because it's a family convention now. So yeah, it was so yes, this Sunday or 2 weeks from now, a week from Sunday, come see Starship Smackdown. I can't believe we're doing it in 2023, but yes, we are. We've been doing it every year other than COVID. So come on down.
Right.
Nice.
Well, guys, I think we'll probably wrap. I appreciate everybody out there in the chat, everybody's questions. Of course, having you on you're always welcome back. We'll definitely do this again.
Shiloh, this has been such an honor. It's been great.
Oh yeah, it's been really nice to meet you guys, and I'd love to come back and talk about some new stuff. As you know, we got to stay tight-lipped, right? It's like, I wish I could come on these things and just say everything, but we gotta milk the marketing, So,
of course.
No, I gotcha. I've gotcha. That's why I'm kind of like nodding along with certain things you're saying. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It's not my first rodeo.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd love to come on and again one of these days. So yeah, so thank you everybody. Check us out, and you might like some of our products. So thank you.
I'll send you the original Star Wars as the download, the Team Negative version. I'll send it to Anthony. He can send you the link.
Yeah, I'd love that.
Yeah, no, that'll work. Now we can chat if you here backstage too. But guys, we're gonna wrap again. I appreciate everybody here again. Go join the Facebook group. I'll post it one more time in the chat, and follow
and join our mail list again. That is the best way to get in the know and save some money and stuff like that. Which is important in the day that you go to the grocery store and spend $150 and you basically have fuck all.
Dude, right. I know, like $20 doesn't get you anything.
Fuck, $20. Yeah, nothing. I mean, like, I got some eggs for like $6 and I don't know what else. I mean, nothing. Nothing. You can't really get anything. So I laugh, but it's not funny. It fucking sucks.
No, it sucks. I feel you. So, and here we are pinching pennies on that, and then we're also collectors, and then we have bills and
mortgages.
And more arcades to get.
That's right.
All right, guys. Well, we're out of here. You guys have a great rest of your night, man. If you're watching on this replay, man, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and we will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.